No. At the end, we could always do like a like just a random roll and be like, "There's our prediction for next week." It's a 2. I'm so sorry. Yep. Hey, Sal.
What up? Hell yeah. Tight. Uh, how do we want to do, like, what is the screen gonna look like? Oh, word, okay. And then should we hop on video chat and Discord and stuff, and then we'll just, like, show the Discord or whatever?
Yeah.
Tight. Tight, tight, tight. No worries. That's fine. I mean, we don't need it to be anything else right now, I guess, right? Okay, I'm gonna test something out real quick because I'm at my apartment, so I don't have my camera, but I do have Discord on my phone, and since I'm not the one streaming through and it's you, I think it should just be normal. Like if I
Yeah,
just
it should be
hop over to
fine.
my phone instead. Yeah, my audio might be weird, but whatever, who cares? So, alright, one sec.
Okay. What a goof.
Yo.
Oh, look at them thighs.
Out here. Too funny.
You dork.
Okay, so what does... Alright, what will happen if I do this?
Rip. Bye. What will happen if I do ends the call? Oh, we're muted. No, Mika. Okay, fuck it. Do it.
Oh,
Are
shaking
we
my
live? What are
head.
we doing?
No, we're live.
We're live.
No, it's not.
Extra gave us a little heads up that we were not muted, and that's my bad,
Oh,
y'all.
I love
Super
it.
cute.
Oh my god.
Oh, B-Monk! Holy shit. Thanks for the
You want
sub.
Fuck yeah, shouts out D-Monk.
Nice. As always, we love you.
Yay. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Oh, an extra I don't know what I'm trying to do.
Oh my god. Thanks, guys. Holy shit. Welcome to the stream. We've missed you so much.
All right. Well, hello and welcome everyone to tonight, which is the first episode of a little Dicey Reroll with
Woohoo!
Aaron
Yeah.
and Mika.
Hey.
And I guess Sal is here.
Sal is here as well. Our fearless
That's so
leader.
He's here.
Yes.
I'll throw a resub of my own channel, I guess.
Yeah,
Do
fuck
it.
it.
Do it.
Let's just do
Second.
it. I'll do it too.
Let me gift a sub.
Yeah.
Hold on, there we go. Share, boom. Cool.
Wow.
That way I don't have to watch.
Bam, we got a hype train,
You got a
y'all.
hype train. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
my sub went to Melephant.
Cute.
That's excellent.
Aw.
Oh man, my vid is fucked. I might have to hop off of
No, you look perfect. It's
Yeah.
great.
That's so funny. At the very least I could probably do this, right?
Yeah. There you
Yeah,
go.
that's
That
a-
looks good.
There we go.
There,
Nice.
much
Boom.
better.
Cool. A bit
Nice.
better. The room looks like shit, but that's fine.
That's fine.
That's why I have my backdrop, so I
Mhm.
can just hide the rest of my life.
Yeah, good call.
Very cool.
There we go. Should be better. I
Perfect.
can't promise the quality of it improving, but
It's
Eh,
no
okay.
worries. Cool.
All right. Well, how do we want to start this off, Meeks?
So I think the recap would be a good idea. Maybe run through, because it's been a few weeks, guys. I'm lost a little bit.
Yep.
So,
Sure.
yeah, Sal, if you want to do a little recap for us, take it away.
Alrighty. do I sound? How's my audio? I know it's
Really
not
good.
good.
You're good.
Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, when last we met, the party had just. I almost fell over. The party had just. I'm working with a jank.
You
setup
got
here.
it. We.
Don't worry about it.
Oh boy, this
Yeah,
man.
it's One second.
It's episode 1, I guess. I
Yeah,
feel
it
it.
is, but I obviously, as people who are watching can see, I am not in the studio. I'm at my own apartment right now.
Mhm.
So if I shift over even the slightest bit, the camera will fall over.
Nobody
So
move.
that's always fun. But when last we met, the party had just finished sort of establishing themselves within the city of Aberlock, in the province of the Blackweld, within the country and kingdom of Naladai. They spoke to a lot of different folk within this town of Aberlock, and sort of ran into a couple of people that they did not appreciate running into again, mainly being Councilman Ibrahim, which has always been hilarious. Matt has frequently accused. He's like, does he really have to be in the places that I want to be and stuff? And I'm like, hey man, you made the choice to go back there and to do stuff. But anyway, so I digress. The main thing that was established was the plan to possibly split up, with Kill and Rennie going to the Stone Home to sort of do a little bit of reconnaissance, and the rest of the group going to the dinner that Sir Ilan Thorne had invited them to by way of Councilman Ibrahim. I believe we just left off the party the night prior, and now we're in the day of, and later this night, they're going to be attending that dinner, that evening get together.
Yes.
So
Nice.
so yeah, that's basically where we left off last, at least like the last time we played.
Yeah.
Do we need to do like a campaign recap thing? I could probably just do like a TLDR, like group of adventurers showed up to an island, and they all met each other, dealt with a dark force on the island that might have gotten away at the very end, and then decided to move to the mainland to adventure some more. There you go.
Nice.
They found an island. They fucked that up. They
Yep.
said, all right,
Yep.
it's done. Go fuck up another place.
Yep. Exactly.
The crusade of hating. It's fine.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I'll be honest, like because I had just started my new job, I had missed most of the episodes like leading up to this past one. So like, I don't know where Rennie came from. Rennie is also the name of our new kitten. So every time you mention him, I'm just like, where did they pick up this cat who's just here? I don't know what is going on at all, except for like my general idea is the following. The group pissed off a bunch of important people, acquired a child, got invited to a party, and is almost definitely going to just screw it up in every conceivable way.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part. So that's really funny. One head crane.
Choo choo.
Yeah, that's basically the case. And man, I am falling right now.
You good?
Let's see if I can read this to the point where it's not gonna do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna adjust.
Yeah, but okay. I think I'm all good. I'm just gonna straighten myself out. Cool. Yeah, you basically hit the nail on the head. I mean, when the party did, so they got to the Blackwell, the mainland, the province of the Blackwell, and then they sort of took refuge at the Crown's Port of the Blackwell. So there are many different Crown's ports throughout the country of Naladai. Those are basically just, kingdom-sponsored, government-sponsored ports throughout, like, every one of the provinces of the kingdom.
Right.
And this was the one for the Blackwell, at least the southern one. And they showed up and sort of just took a load off, stayed at the hostel there. There was some interesting encounters that they had not only with other people but within the group that happened, which was so now that there's some weird like post-coital tension, which is very funny. If you missed that, that's always hilarious.
She did, yeah.
Yes.
It's okay. I'm gonna spend my time rewatching the episodes, like starting this week. We're hopefully gonna get some shit together.
It's no worries. But so they met Rennie at the Crownsport.
Okay.
They did some, shopping around and stuff and whatever.
For different boys, and then they said, "This is the one we
That's
want."
the boy.
Yes, yeah. They're like, "This boy is good. We're picking this one."
Yeah.
No, they happened upon him because I think it was Kill that noticed there was they'd come back from killing the nearby giant that there was a bounty out for. They came back and it was in the middle of the night, and Kill noticed there was movement in the docks where there was like no one else, and it seemed like someone was like rifling or trying to get into like crates and stuff.
Right.
So they approached this character. It turned out to be Rennie, this young boy, and he gave them a fake name at first, but I don't remember what it was. Off the top of my head.
He's had so many names now at this point.
I know.
It's good.
Funny. But they eventually convinced him to like chill, because he was like freaking out, especially because Kill turned into like a dog, I think, and just like chased him down,
chased him,
which is really funny. And Kaz was being his usual, like, vaguely threatening all the time.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
He's a devil.
So this child was like afraid of what was happening. Eventually they calmed him down and convinced him to just sort of say like, "Hey, what were you doing and what's going on? Do you need help?" And he told him his situation. He was once a citizen of Aberlock. His brother was a very sort of well-known and like heroic knight who fought in the wars and stuff,
Right.
in the Thames War. And the whole town of Aberlock sort of thought that he was going to be rewarded for his service via the crown, which has been sort of the norm. But the reward being made sovereign of Aberlock, because Aberlock was without a sort of governmental representative, a lord or a lady, and eventually this one dude, Sir Ilan Thorne, just sort of showed up with this posse and was like, "Yo, we've got this writ from the king saying that I'm actually the new lord, and I served in the army too, and I this whatever." And Marcroft, Rennie's brother, goes by the Mary, was like, "None of us know you, and like this doesn't make any sense, whatever, blah blah blah." And because of his sort of his insubordination, Ilan had him thrown into the Stone Home, which is the sort of natural prison of Aberlock that they it's like a leftover part of the Tempest Peaks that is like jutting out of the ground. It's made of like pure stone, obviously. Like one piece of stone that they sort of carved out years ago and use as a prison. And so Marcroft is in the prison, and Rennie's like, "Hey, I don't like any of these people, and something's really weird about it, and I want to break my brother out, and I want you guys to help me defeat Ilan." And the party was like, "We'll do anything for you, little boy."
Yeah.
And now we're here.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah. Very good.
Okay. Well, that was a very good recap off the top of your head.
Bro, when
you
you told me,
go.
he said he recaps these improv at the beginning of every episode, and I'm still shook.
There's so many little details.
Yeah, like, and you recap
Yeah,
not only just 4 episodes, basically, like, goddamn,
Yup.
Yeah.
very impressive.
I used to write them And at some point, I was like, you know what, like. If he does write it, cool. If he doesn't, and he's like reading from or if he's reading from a prompter, cool. If he just memorizes them, that's even cooler. But because we don't have a prompter, I think I had watched like a recent episode of Critical Role just to try to remember if Mercer was like reading something, but he like looks directly at the fucking camera when he's like, "Hey, this is what happened last week." And it's not as detailed as like some of the stuff that I was writing before, but because I wasn't memorizing what I was writing, I was like looking down when I was doing it. And like when I would rewatch some of the episodes, I was like, I'd rather be looking at the camera or looking at the players when I was doing this. So I just made it a point to rewatch and like take better notes and just sort of retain as much as I could. And now I just sort of wing it. I go in with a pretty good amount of confidence, just knowing what I'm doing, and then if I miss something, the players bring it up, like you know what I mean.
Oh yeah,
I'm not worried. So
see, my life hack was always I just make one of my players remember everything, and they do the recap.
Like, what happened?
I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I have Swiss cheese brain. I know exactly where we ended, and everything before that point was just out of my brain.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I can't. I wish I'd be able to do that, but I feel like leaving anything to any of them, in terms of that,
you just don't trust them.
I do not want to do, anyways. But you know.
Yeah.
Stuff is there.
I love it.
I might want to hold for a second. I don't know what B Monk said for, but we'll see.
Yeah, B Monk was uh-ohing in chat.
It was probably just my fucking camera falling.
Oh, maybe.
Again.
Yeah. Okay, as long as I think we're all good. It looks good on my phone.
Yeah, everything looks fine.
I'm watching on the stream and it seems fine. I mean, my quality is dog shit.
Between me and
you're so beautiful.
Yeah, I'm also trying to stream off of a laptop, so nothing's going to be. It's not going to be that pretty, guys.
Listen, not that high quality, high fidelity stream.
Yeah. I mean, on my phone it looks totally fine, but whatever.
I know, same. Like, it's goofy,
it looks
but
fine.
Yeah. We got it.
The content is what's important.
Exactly.
Not the faces.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Do we want to move on to Q&A now, or?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you.
For sure.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. I know Extra left us some questions.
Yes.
Boop. Let's go through.
I do have to say before we start.
Yeah.
Michaela, if you were the one who designed like all of like the new things like for the starting screen, like goddamn, they look so good.
Thank you.
They did.
That was me. Yes. I do that for money now if you guys want. So
that's so tight. I knew that, but also at the same time, I don't know why. I think it was because Patrick had just sort of like done it before to where like I didn't think to like ask you to do anything, and then
it's so fun.
I had, and this is not a knock on Patrick. I love him. If you're watching, Patrick, I still love you. But I think I had like asked Jenna to ask him, or maybe I asked him directly. I was like, "Hey, can you like make another thing or whatever?" And he just never got around to doing that. And I was like, "Oh, well, fuck it, I guess." But then I saw yours, and I was like, "Oh, these are fucking incredible."
Thanks. Yeah, they're both great in their respects. I'm always gonna love the like Dicey logo OG because it's the OG.
True.
But yeah, I mean, it's cool just designing new stuff. I've been doing like some of the stuff. Yeah, I did like the schedule stuff. If you guys are following our Instagram, which you should, add a little Dicey D&D. I'm pretty sure that is a D&D.
A little Dicey.
Okay, so one of the two. You'll find it if you type a little Dicey. It'll be there.
Yeah, let me look.
But yeah, I just did that schedule post for us, so I mean, yeah, I do graphics, guys. If you ever need a graphic,
all of my screens. If you ever watch my streams, she's made all of mine, all of Garrett's.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, the loading screen for this stream they made.
My own as well. So yeah.
Well,
if you've watched any of Nika's streams.
Now we're gonna make everything for this fucking stream.
Hell yeah!
Right? They're so talented.
I do. Remind me after this, Michaela. I have to text you something about something on the business end of things.
Hell yeah! I got you.
So, this.
Okay.
But yeah, let's get into the
Let's get into
Q&A.
some
Just wanted to give you a
cues.
shout out.
Oh,
Like so fucking enamored with those things.
thank you. I'm so happy you love them. I have to remember what my fucking command is because I'm bad
Oh
at
my
this.
goodness. Aren't you?
I'm a
you're
mod.
Hello Diddy.
Yeah, I'm
Aren't
Hello
you,
Diddy.
Like exclamation Hello Diddy.
Yes,
All
I
right.
typed Mika. It should be Mika. It's just easier.
It
but
should be Mika.
I forgot and didn't think about it. Okay, so yeah, we can go down the list, and since
Yeah.
there's 3 questions, we can answer them. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, go for it.
I can start with the first one since it was like Garrett had responded to this one, and I
Yeah.
kind of know his thing. So it says, for our lovely cast, if your characters died, do you have a backup character waiting? And if so, what is their class and race if you don't care about it being a secret? And so I got a response from Garrett, our lovely Kaz, because and I love that he answered this question because he most likely, like, out of everyone, he's the one that dies every time. So like he's just become accustomed to like building another character, and he also likes doing it.
Before you answer the question,
Go up.
I can give you a little insight as to probably why that was.
Yeah, go up.
For his past 3 characters before Kaz, and almost including Kaz right now, the other characters that made up the party were not. His characters filled a niche in the party in terms of like mechanics or combat, being he was sort of the quote-unquote tank of the group for all 3 of his characters. Or at the very least, he was one of the only melee that, like, wasn't also a caster. You know what I mean? Like, Matt's first character could stand on the outskirts and be a warlock, or he could use his sword as a hexblade. Then Matt's second character was a wizard, so always on the outside. Jamie's character has always been, like, a sorcerer or a tinkerer, so he was always firing at range. Alex's old character was a cleric, also ranged caster. So Jenna was the only exception, and I love Jenna, but Jenna was learning D&D. So she wasn't like in the know about how to mechanically move her character around. But Garrett did. So the problem was that, like, every time we would get into combat, Garrett's characters were always the characters that were always the most susceptible to damage. Because he was the one in range all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Or like all of his characters. So that was a big reason why it was happening. It's not like I just don't want anybody to think I have a vendetta.
No, yeah.
I love all of his characters.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you can tell them about what he might be thinking.
Yeah. That's really good to know though too, because we all like it was always a running joke too of like, why Garrett, poor Garrett, goddamn. He said it doesn't help that I was mostly good-hearted people trying to save everyone. Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, you little white knight over here.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Totally fine. Just the problem is that when you're the only white knight in the group, and the rest of the group is not the ones that are willing to jump headfirst into the fray, then it's like, all right, well now all of the enemies are like, oh, you're the one right here.
All right. Blasting him. Yeah, it's fair.
Yes.
So yeah, okay, so for to answer that question from Garrett's perspective, he said he definitely has one. I am out of focus. I'm gonna wait 2 seconds. God dang. Anyway, well, fuck it. He said I definitely have one, and it's an elven monk. I've talked to, yep. And so basically, yeah, he like came up with them as soon as he was like, any danger was afoot. He was like, fuck, God, and just panicked and was like, I think it was after the fight with Eric, right?
Yeah.
That he was probably like, yeah, okay, I'm in mortal peril too often, and so just did that. Also, my music just kicked back on. Sorry, y'all. But yeah. So and then. I know he told you, Sal, about some of the specifics of that character that you could probably, if you remember, fill in.
Oh, I remember. He has. So I'm not gonna give away too much about it. I always like to keep the party's new player or the party's new characters that haven't been revealed to the rest of the party, like a little bit on the up and up. But what I will say is that Garrett. Along with everybody in the party, like I will say, our players are very very cognizant about and very aware about the characters that they want to create, and so they ask very questions a part of character creation. And obviously Garrett is no exception to that. And so the questions that he was asking me were things that I had not necessarily thought of originally, but because like, you know what I mean? Like, the questions that he was asking me, I did not have necessarily like notes to immediately go, oh, I can go look at this thing that I wrote before and answer this question.
Yeah.
But because I had wrote so much before, and I'm continually writing, the questions that he was asking me were sort of like spurring me on to be like, oh yeah, like, what would this one city have to offer, blah blah blah, or like this, you know what I mean, or does this thing exist? Or he asked me, I will say, he asked me a lot of questions about the Pantheon, the Pantheon was working, and what it meant for some people to pray to some gods or believe in some gods. Because as a new thing I sort of introduced in this campaign, which is different from last campaign, was that last campaign I had this big pantheon and I was so excited about it, so I just sort of made it like everybody worships everything. People sometimes don't worship like the evil gods or whatever, what we consider evil gods. But there's this one country that doesn't give a fuck about what you worship, and then everybody else like just doesn't like these few. And there was never really any like consequences or like interesting choices about like the Pantheon. It was just that there was one. And then I changed that up, and now that there's like one kingdom and like a big government, a sort of feel about it, and a bureaucracy and all this stuff, like they monetize their religion. So like there are only 5 deities that you are legally allowed to pray to if you're a citizen of the crown, and in addition to that, you pay taxes to then fund the government-funded churches for these 5 gods, which is why there is a King's Hand chapel in like almost every settlement and stuff. So he was asking me a bunch of questions about like, well, what about this god, like in the Pantheon, and are there temples to this and stuff? And I was like, actually, no. Like, that's not a god that someone would have temples to. He was asking me specifically about Athene, who is the living mountain, the god of wisdom, and sort of like a nature god. And there are no temples to Athene. There are shrines, like in the forests and stuff, and like the dwarves really admire Athene and stuff. But again, like, that's not a government-sanctioned deity that you are legally, allowed to deify, if that makes sense. We're allowed to understand that it is a god, but we're not allowed to revere it in the sense of worship, right? Or to evoke its name or whatever. So, yeah, his questions that he was asking me for his elven monk were extremely interesting, and as much as I don't ever want Kaz to die, I think that his character, his next character, is very, very interesting. And if we move on to campaign 3 eventually, I would very much like to see that character specifically be a part of it. I think it's cool.
Yeah, that's dope.
I love that. And like, I must say as well, like, I so far have really enjoyed the way that the characters, especially like Kill, have interacted with Cide, because I just love seeing someone who's almost like outside looking in at deities who seem kind of foreign to Kill. It's been very, very cool the way that, like, obviously us, the audience, like, watching it, we're like, oh, Cide is evil, don't fuck with that. But Kill's just like, I don't get how he's different from the other gods of conquest. Like, they're all doing the same thing. Why don't we, like, why am I not allowed to talk to this one?
Yeah.
Which I really love the way that not only have, like, Matt and Garrett interact with Cide, but the way that you have, like, allowed that kind of play space in the world for them, I think has been really, really cool.
For sure.
Thank you. I mean, I'm just happy that, because like when you're writing these things, in my head I'm like, oh, this is interesting, I love the idea of having two gods that basically are so close to being the same god that they might as well be the same god.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's just a philosophical difference between like what you believe one thing is and what you believe the other thing is, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason why we have two different words for what these gods do. The only difference in what they do is the intent behind it, right? So therefore, in my mind, they're two separate gods. Or, you know, maybe some people don't even believe that. Maybe some people in the world just believe that they're the same god, and you just call them a different name when you're trying to justify certain things. You know what I mean? And so,
right.
the lay person, I mean, I equate it to the same. And there's nothing wrong with not thinking about this, but like the lay person that, like, I don't know, like, I mean, I love my coworkers, but like, you know, at the restaurant that I tend at and serve at and stuff, like, they're just a bunch of normal people. Like, they don't have a philosophy degree like I do, which is fine. Like, you know, they're
probably better, arguably, not to have a philosophy degree.
What's that?
I said probably better, arguably, not to have a philosophy degree.
Oh, it certainly is. It certainly is. But like, you know, I equate my coworkers in the sense where they don't think about that kind of thing. Like, if I brought that up, they'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" You know what I mean? I equate that line of thinking with like the common people of Naladai. Like, the common folk are just gonna be like, all right, well, I have a place where I can, you know, go pray and get guidance from people, and I pay a little bit of a fee in taxes, you know, every once in a while to the government so that they can fund that. And like, I can use it as shelter if I need to. I can get food there if I can't afford it or whatever. Like, the common person's not thinking about the difference between Doromar and C-Day. But the party are not common folk. They are elevated in the sense, and especially Kill, because he's literally not. He doesn't know any of the gods of Naladai. He only knows the deities and like the ancient creatures of the Maritomes and his culture, which are just intrinsically different. Like, some of them might be the same being, but definitely wouldn't be looked at the same or even have the same name. So yeah, I mean, I'm just happy that the players are interested in interacting with that. You know what I mean? Because like, when I don't know about you, Aaron, I'm sure I can speak for you when I say this, but like, when we're writing these things, all I'm thinking about is how much I like it, and then I'm like, damn, I hope they like it too. Because otherwise, all this extra notes and shit, I'm just like, well, this is all just for me. You know what I mean?
I definitely would get like into such like minutia where I'm like, I know like where a dwarf, like how a dwarf sets a table. Like, I know where they place their forks and knives, and it's like, no one needs this. No one's ever gonna ask this. My players won't know, and so I'd have to like back myself out of it again and be like, all right, broader scope. Gotta like spread this out a little bit again. And we've got actually Eastern East, who used to do the tech for Tift, is in chat.
Amazing.
So they could she can definitely acknowledge how fun and how excited I'd get. And when you're a dungeon master, all you want to do is just like, you just want to watch people play with the things that you built.
I built this for you. Amazing.
And so, like, kind of tagging along for question 2 here for you, Sal, is how ruthless are you with PC deaths? As in, do you do anything to try and prevent them? Or do you kind of just, like, if it's going to happen, you just let it happen? Like, are you the kind of DM, I think, who, like, who would pull punches or fudge a roll, or are you, if the dice land, that's how they land?
Yeah, so I'll sort of answer these backwards. So the last thing you said, like, about the dice landing when they have our fudging rolls, my personal philosophy is that I never fudge rolls. I never change what the dice say. Without letting my players know that a modifier has changed. Does that make sense? I never change what the dice say. However, if something happens in combat, or if they do something, the modifier to whatever I'm rolling might change, or the DC might change. Like, we know that, and we also give inspiration, or we give advantage and disadvantage. The only time where I might like roll something and then just sort of adjust the DC. I never adjust the dice roll, right? If I adjust the DC, it's never more than like 5. Like I would never adjust the DC by more than 5. I think 5 is like huge.
Yeah.
But if the DC is like 20 and I adjust it even by 5 and the dice roll is 3, it doesn't fucking matter. Like it was gonna fail no matter what. You know what I mean? So I'm fine with that. As far as player deaths, to give you an example, Matt and I have sort of had this conversation in what we find compelling or interesting about Dungeons and Dragons. And combat is one of those things. It's a big part of the game, and it's a reason why a lot of people who play the game, right? A lot of people play it without really role-playing, and they just like the combat and the mechanics, and that was how the game was originally created for, dungeon crawling and that stuff. If you are playing Dungeons and Dragons for the sense of enjoyment of story, combat is important to add stakes to the game outside of conversational role playing and conversational stakes, right? There's political intrigue that will always heighten stakes in role playing, and I introduce that as much as I can, especially because my players really like role playing, and as do I. However, mechanically, and the base part of the game that is supposed to introduce tension is combat. There is no tension unless the threat of death exists in the game. And to give you an example, Matt and I both do this. I don't watch, it's very hard for me to watch, like, I love Critical Role. I watch it all the time. I usually, if I'm catching it on VOD, if it's not live, I usually skip through combat, or I just like scroll my cursor over the time bar to just see a little screenshot, the little screenshots of the video. And if someone's like this, or it looks like something has happened, then I'll stop and watch that. But like, generally, combat is completely irrelevant if you know that Mercer is not going to let any of them die unless it's some sort of like interesting fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, unless it's like a BBG, like they're not just gonna fall to like a hill giant.
Right. But I would let that happen, and I have let that happen. In the previous campaign, I mean, Garrett can attest to this. I'm sure he's watching. I think out of the 3 characters that he's had, only Roscoe was a sort of, like climactic, like super emotional, intense death that I would argue almost furthered the story. You know what I mean? Like one of those literary epic deaths that was really wonderful. But the rest of the characters sort of just died because of unfortunate circumstances, not because they were getting outpowered or something like that, or just slightly poor choices or whatever. The dice rolled how they rolled, and that's just what happened.
Yep. Was it Dad that died to a bush, or was it May?
Yeah, though I mean the whole party did.
Yeah.
The TPK happened because they got into a room that was supposed to be extremely challenging for them, with very high rewards, and it just they lost one character very quickly, which was Dad. Yeah. And because that happened, and they didn't run, they just sort of, the snowball effect happened, and they just kept dying. Extra saying the death of Dumbledore sort of. Like, that's the thing. Like the most interesting deaths are always the ones that move the story forward, right? Like that's why it's interesting. That's why people joke about like, oh, spoiler, Dumbledore dies, or Snape kills Dumbledore. Like, that's why that's a meme.
Yeah,
because it's so
pivotal.
Yeah. So
sure.
I've always been in the camp of, if you're going to have a mechanic of the game, like, do the mechanic. You know what I mean? Don't just sort of have it to fill a niche, or to have it. Like, combat is important to move the story along, and your mechanical choices can help inform your character choices, and those mechanical choices usually manifest themselves in combat, right? I completely agree, East.
Oh, yeah.
If you like the death still sucks.
It's
for
worse.
Sure. Totally
It's
agree.
actually worse.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And I'll give you an example. I'll give you a prime example. My favorite moment that I've ever had reading any story happened a few months ago, I think. If you're not familiar with the Age of Madness trilogy by Joe Abercrombie, I highly recommend it. It's a very, very good trilogy of books. It's technically a sequel trilogy, but you do not need to know the previous story. I feel like it's better because the world feels more lived in. Anyways, the last book, I'll never forget this. It was the only time this has ever happened to me in my whole life. The penultimate chapter of the third book in that trilogy has a character death in it. And the way it is written is so perfect and incredible. But I had to physically put the book down because I was crying so much of knowing what was happening to this character. Like, when you're reading this chapter, you're like, oh shit, like, this is happening. It's not like a sudden thing. It's not like a whatever. It just starts to slowly happen. And you're like, holy fuck. And the pacing's perfect. And the guy's last words are perfect. And it's just wonderful. I had to put it down and like return to it and finish it out. And even when I returned to it, I was just like laughing and crying because of how well it was written. Right? Obviously, that's different because it is a written story and not a ongoing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that story was written, done. That was the point. It's not. The story wasn't being told as I was reading it. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah.
Which is what our game is. So, it sucked. Like, I felt the weight of this character dying, but now that I'm removed from it, like, looking back on it, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have been moved so much by it. And I was super inspired by it. So I completely agree that, like, I know that Garrett felt fucking really bad, like, when Roscoe died. Like, I know that. Like, I'm friends with Garrett. I love Garrett.
We are friends.
And I felt... You can see it in, like, I think the VOD is on YouTube. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see it in all of our faces. Like, it fucking sucked. But it was, if I go watch that back, I'll tell you what, man, that shit was badass too. Like, it was fucking cool. And it was tight. And so, I'm not one to pull punches when it comes to character deaths. I do my very best to be like, are you sure you want to do that? Or like,
oh god,
go do that.
Yeah.
And I'm even trying to move away from that because, like, I don't want to coddle my players so much so that they're not thinking closely about their choices, right? Like, I want them to really understand that what they're doing is real. You know what I mean? I know it's the game that we play. We all understand that. But, you know, for me, the game is more enjoyable when you're playing it and are appreciating the choices that you're making, right? You can't appreciate the choices that you make if there are not consequences for some of the choices that you should probably have not made. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
yeah, literally even talking to Garrett. Oh yeah, sorry.
No, all my answers are going to be long-winded, so I apologize.
You're good.
No, that's your favorite thing.
I was gonna say, even talking to Garrett about, like, that it has translated, at least to him, where he's like, I know he's had days where he's like, I literally, like, you cannot take this shit lightly, because I don't want to die. Like, I know Sal is not afraid to murder me, so I just don't want to go swinging, you know? You gotta think about shit, but...
And I'll, like, even so a little bit on the other side of that, like, for another example, like, in comparison to Crit Roll, is the Adventure Zone. And I know for a fact that, like, Griffin will fudge rolls. Griffin does pull punches, like, all that kind of stuff. And so there is a lot less heaviness and a lot less impact to a lot of different things. And so, by the way, spoiler and blah, 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 if you haven't finished the first season of Taz. But if you haven't, I mean, guys, it's been like 10 years. This is not my problem anymore. But one of my favorite NPCs dies in the final battle. And I, without fail, I've now listened to Balance probably 5 or 6 times all the way through. And without fail, every time that Griffin says that Johann hits the floor and doesn't get back up, I cry every time. And then he has this big impactful speech where he like, as his like spirit is fading off into the astral plane, he talks to Magnus and he says like, don't let them forget about me. Like, you need to go and fight now, and you have to win, because if you don't, then I will be lost forever and I will have meant nothing to this world. And it just completely like, it completely changes the way that you feel about that scene and the final battle, and the way that everything is structured just now like has so much more of an impact on the listener, on the players, and it makes everything so real. And yes, he does it, of course, still without like presenting real danger to the player characters, but still utilizing like an impactful death makes a huge difference. And so I do definitely like, I'm a fan of the fact that like you use combat in a more impactful way, and that you aren't afraid to let players die. I don't want them to die.
Of course
I'll
not.
be very, very terse with you should you kill the babies. But I also, you know, I understand that you have to present stakes to give meaning.
Yeah, and it's just like the extra.
Yeah.
One time I was facing a gray slime in a cave. I cast Chromatic Orb, nat 1, tough. My DM rolled a counter roll to see what would happen. He got a nat 20, sucks. He said, well, fuck it. It blew up in your face, roll damage. I rolled and ended up one-shotting myself. That's tough. I failed all 3 death saves. So my DM was like, somehow you get back up.
They love you. So that's what that is.
Your DM was like was really bubble wrapping you on that one. You're gonna be fine, bud.
Just
fucking hilarious.
Rub some dirt on it. It's fine.
You're fine.
That's amazing.
Awesome. Oh my god, that's so fucking funny. Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. I mean, the first thing is, it's clear to me, and like, this is not a fault on your DM. Play however you want to play, as long as you're having fun. There's no wrong way. But it seems to me like making those choices to be like, all right, well, let's see what happens like after you're nat 1. If you don't have like a chart that you're referencing or something that you built and you're just sort of like winging that, like that could have been avoided, right? Like if you would have wrote a chart and then like 1 through 20, and like 20 it said maybe like you, I don't know, like it can blow up in your face, but you know, if I'm writing that and I'm like, all right, well, I don't want this, you know, 1 in 40 chance to just randomly kill one of my players just because 1 in 40 chance. Like, that's kind of fucked. So, like, you know, that could have definitely been avoided. But, my man, if you would have fucking failed all 3 death saves, I'd be like...
Tough! It's so tough!
I definitely, like... I understand if you want to fudge rolls. I understand if you want to pull punches. But if you've gotten to the point where you're making death saves, the time to, like, bubble wrap it's gone. It's past. You can't, like, that is, like, the prime core tenet of the game is the death save. You can't fail 3 death saves and have your DM be like, it's fine.
And
I'm sorry, my dude, you're dead.
Yeah, man.
Rip.
That's it. And it's so funny because you can instantly, and I'm sure Aaron, tell me if you can tell via watching, but I know Michaela, you can tell because you're in the room with us. When I say, all right, make a death saving throw, like, the air in the room changes.
Oh, fuck.
Like,
it's so scary.
For sure.
Immediately, everyone's like, immediately on high alert.
Yeah.
Like, all right, fuck.
Everyone
Now
sits
we
the
can
fuck up.
roll.
It's fucking scary.
No, like, even sitting, like, and I am a country away watching, but, like, I'll be texting Michaela, and I'll just be like, I can't fucking do this. Like, I can't. I'm freaking out. Like, I get so tense just sitting here watching. And, like, I have rearranged my work schedule so that I can leave an hour early for work so that I can come and moderate the streams. And, like, I've tried a couple times to, like, leave, like, to keep working and just have, like, in the background, have the stream playing. And I can't. Because the moment you guys are, like, you start talking, my focus just gets pulled so completely that I'm like, well, fuck it. I can't. Like, I have to stop working. Because I'm just like, and yeah, the moment you guys get into combat, normally that's the kind of stuff that I will skip. Because I don't care about combat. It's not interesting to me. But you guys have such a good way of still, like, feeding your role play through your combat that it still captures enough of my focus that I want to watch.
Absolutely. The audience integration as well too makes it like it's just as much.
It's so good.
It's like just as much stakes for us because it's like fuck, I'm out of points. I can't do anything anymore. Like that type of shit is like fuck. Like, and there's only so many raffles I can do.
Like there's where we'll all be in chat and we're all like,
what do we do?
Do something. Like we have to help. And it's almost like playing a video game. Like where we're all just sitting there like, guys, did anyone remember to stock up on potions? Like, who got the fancy sword? Someone, like, we have to.
Please.
There's nothing you can do sometimes.
Literally. Oh. Yeah. Sheesh.
I do want to give a heads up. I probably have time for one more question.
For sure.
All right. I was just about to say we'll throw this to question 3 here. So through the ups and downs, the numerous deaths and survival instincts, the failed and succeeded saving throws, and the natural ones, natural 20s, and every number in between, who has been your favorite and least favorite NPC? This includes chat NPCs and fuck it, your previous campaign and the one shot.
Ooh.
That's a very good question.
Yeah, this is also from Extra.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Extra, by the way.
Extra.
That was so amazing.
That's super tight. So I don't have a lot of. I mean, the thing is, it's so funny because like that's such a great question for like any of the players, and hopefully we'll get them on like maybe next week.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I can't say I dislike really any of the characters, because I fucking
you made
right.
They're you.
But what I will say, this is what I will say. Last campaign, I'll give you a little insight on this. There was a character last campaign that we got to see maybe like once or twice on stream that I had introduced before the stream started. And the name of this character is Wanderer, aka Wanda, because that's how I was pronouncing the name for Wanderer, based on the accent. And I loved writing this character, and I think the character is very interesting and fun. And if I wouldn't have introduced it last campaign, I would do it again in this one. However, what I had originally wrote for that character is not at all what I executed in the game. Mostly because that particular session, I had forgot my notes on that character, but I knew I was introducing them at the time, and I didn't realize I forgot those notes until I got to the point where I was introducing them, and I just started winging it, and I forgot some of the stuff that I wrote, and then when I went back to like look at my shit, I'm like, oh my god, I fucked it up completely. And then the character ended up being completely different, and I was so mad every time because they weren't meant to be what they turned out to be, and I was like, but
God damn it.
the character, I mean, that was fine, so that was okay. So if I didn't like an NPC, it was probably Wanderer, only because I fucked up introducing the character.
That's so funny.
But I think my favorite NPC, I'll stick to this campaign, but my favorite NPC, I think I said this last week when we sort of winged this one. My favorite NPC so far, at least to play, what has been Desmua, I think. I really loved her. I loved writing her. I loved sort of framing the story around her. I loved playing her. I really loved everyone's reaction to her. I loved the chat's reaction to her.
Yeah.
I knew that she was going to be like, it at the very least, people were gonna be like, "What is Sal doing?" You know what I mean? Which is fine enough for me to get people interested in what's going on. Like if someone is browsing and they tune in and they see fucking me with my hair in front of my face, like barely
Being a little
blinking,
creep.
I'm crying, like then they'll be like, "What the fuck's happening?" You know what I mean? So, but then when I actually got to interact and role play with, Matt and Garrett and Jamie and Jenna, like everyone had a moment with Desmua that I really loved. You know what I mean? Whether it was fucking hilarious, like with Jamie, when pretending to be that fucking iconic moment when he was pretending to be Samson or whoever it was.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, Mom or whatever, that shit was fucking hilarious.
It's so good.
And then from that to like Kill's interaction with Desmua, where he was just trying to like calm her down and like understand her and stuff, which Kill does with everybody. Yeah, I really loved her, but I'm probably most excited to get a little bit more into Thorn, because I think he's very interesting. I really like the current dynamic between Thorn and the group. I love that he's interested in them, but Ibrahim does not like them at all. And Ibrahim is very close to Thorn, obviously. So I really love this weird, like, pseudo love triangle thing going on, where like just really cares about Thorn. Thorn cares about Ibrahim too, but he's like really interested in these new people. And Ibrahim hates them, you know what I mean? And it's sort of like the same vibe type thing. So
for sure.
Yeah, those are my likes and dislikes on NPC.
No, that's awesome. Mika, do you want to answer?
Oh, there's a little black cat outside just walking around.
Mine now. I'm grabbing him.
Go get it. That's your cat now.
I only know my favorite right now, and I know it's Rennie, because he's
oh my God,
the best. He's an angel. I love him. What can I say? And everyone loves him. He's a crowd favorite, and if he dies, I too will die. So, my untimely demise.
Really fucked with. I really liked Solfrid a lot. I thought that she was wonderful. I loved the way that she was just so good. She was so good. But I think my absolute favorite is actually, I really liked Coletta for like the small, we had such like a short bit with her, but I just loved how she interacted with the party. Like, I loved how done with Kaz she was. When Kaz was like, yeah, can you go tell Soulfriend let like take her for a drink? And she's like, no.
Fuck that.
I hate you. I just left. And I was like, you're my hero.
I love it.
But my favorite thing when I'm like writing some of these towns and developing these NPCs is just like, a lot of them, like, you don't have time to like sit down and like write a whole bunch of shit for, so you just like hit them with like a couple adjectives and then you move on. Coletta was one of those characters where I just hit her with a couple adjectives, and then like I looked at it when she came up and I was like, all right, here we go, and then I just fucking see what comes out. And and I'm just blessed with players that are very interactive, so it's very easy for me to just sort of figure out what the character is as I'm role playing with them. But yeah, Coletta was definitely like a collaboratory, like, all right, what energy are they giving me? I'm just gonna sort of try to play off that.
Amazing. I love it.
Well, this has been super fun, you guys.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
I was gonna ask one last thing, if you want, and it's just short. You don't have to, but can you give us any hints as far as tomorrow? Like, give us any little teasers? Anything interesting for tomorrow's episode?
Give us a good juicy,
something juicy,
like sentence, and then the moment you finish, you gotta jump off the
dip
call right then.
Okay. Well,
ready?
Let me think about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Think it through.
So, this is what I can tell you. Always mind your manners at dinner.
Damn. She. Our fearless leader, Sal. Everyone, that was good shit. I love that.
Mika has to move herself.
Yes, yeah. Let me just.
Get you back where you belong.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Nothing like singing on Discord, right? Hey.
Fuck. There will never be anything that I enjoy more in my life than like just the discordant sounds of everyone trying to sing one thing in Discord.
Absolutely.
It's so fucking good.
Yeah, dude. Oh, I'm so excited. I've missed D&D so much.
Too.
Oh, I can't fucking
Holy
wait.
shit.
Like, and I haven't been in the same room as all these people. I mean, okay, other than the other day. No, because then, yeah, Sal wasn't there. I haven't been in one room with all these people in fucking weeks, and I missed them. I'm so excited. So,
like, I super enjoyed your guys's, like, just balls to the wall fucking bananas one shot.
My first D&D
like,
session?
So good. So good.
Thanks.
However, I'm also really stoked to, like, get back into the
Absolutely.
campaign.
Absolutely. And we've got so much new content for you guys, too, that, like, we're gonna...
Y'all, this shit, it's gonna be wild.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We have got so much coming down the pipe.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, this is the first time for those of you who've only ever been on the Dicey channel
Yeah.
that you'll see me.
Yeah.
You get to see me every week now. I'm gonna
Exactly.
be here to do the recaps
Yep.
with Mika.
Yeah, and Erin's always in the chat. That's Lil Bog Witch. That's who we drop
am.
every fucking week because we love her, and she's the lore witch, the little lore
I am
witch.
the lore witch. And I will try, and I know I say this literally every week where I'm like, I'm gonna try and catch up, guys. I'm gonna try and catch up.
She's a
But then
busy
my
lady.
Then I get COVID or my life like curb stomps me, and so then I don't catch up.
It's okay. And we've all had our shit lately, so it's okay. But I also thought maybe before we do our like predictions.
Yeah.
I mean, because technically we said we'll go to 11, but we'll kind of see how it goes.
That's a bit long for this first
Yeah,
one.
for sure. So, what we can do, I just thought if anybody had lore questions, we could always
in chat
answer
has
those.
any questions for me and Mika, if it's like you guys have any questions like for behind the scenes shit.
Yeah, or maybe you want to
whatever
plot.
else.
You want to plot with us, maybe like while no one else is around. That's also fine.
Yeah,
It's up to
Sal's
you.
not here anymore.
Sal's
so
not
if you
here.
have if you have any things that you need like us to facilitate,
Yeah, just
this is the time.
just drop it in the DM, whatever. You got it. You good.
They'll never know.
Yeah, unless Garrett's watching.
Garrett, get out.
Get out! It's a secret.
It's not for you.
But yeah, oh my gosh, I'm so excited that like we also just get to vibe more too. So
Yes, which we do love. If
Yeah.
there's one thing that I love in life, it's getting to sit down and talk about nerd shit.
Hell yeah, I know what's gonna happen. Ooh, that is an interesting theory.
I'm so beyond stoked.
Yeah,
For this dinner.
yeah, I'm
I
ready.
cannot wait for shit to get wild. I cannot wait for everything to hit the fan.
I know y'all
I'm
got some
stoked.
shit planned. Chat has plans,
As they should. As
non-disclosed.
they should.
Yeah, and I'm fucking amped.
Oh my god. And also to just like reiterate what we are planning for like this
Yeah.
series, it's gonna be we'll start you off with a recap.
Mm-hmm.
Going forward, either me or Mika can do the recap.
Mhm.
We just couldn't remember what happened last
It's been so
episode 'cause
long.
It's been like 3 years.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we'll have like either Sal or the other cast members.
Mhm.
We could go. Let's go get Pat one of these weeks.
Hell
And
yeah.
we'll just have Pat come hang out with us. Like, we're gonna just we'll grab people. We should
Exactly.
get Alex.
Absolutely.
We'll find Alex one day.
Absolutely.
He can come hang out with us.
We'll just have like a
So
significant others
Yeah.
chat.
Yeah, I also met like Alex, who like used to be. On
Oh
the show.
yeah,
That
yeah.
Alex.
Retiree.
We could also get Jamie's fiance. I'm
Why
sure
the
he
fuck
would love
not?
that.
He streams. We'll do it.
Yeah, it's fine. They'll probably have to surrender their weapons at the door. So yeah, food.
That's
fight.
all they
Yeah.
got, man.
Yeah, they're not gonna let them walk in there with like, this is my gun.
Yeah, guns a blazing. Also what I'm interested in is to see how like Kill handles this, because basically we kind of had it set up where like, so he was gonna go watch Rennie because he was going to Boston or not Boston, what is it, wherever, Baltimore, in real life, what
Oh, I
in
thought
real
you were trying to
life
say, like, in the game, and I'm
no
like, they're in the Blackwell, you absolute degenerate.
no, Matt was really
Blackwell, same shit.
we made it so that Matt could go on his little business trip and but now he's here, so we're like, what is he gonna do? Is he gonna go to the party with Rennie, or is he gonna Kill gonna go to the party with Rennie, or is Rennie gonna stay home? I don't think Rennie can go, but yeah.
No, I think they can't bring the kid.
Yeah,
kid can't go.
No, because they know the kid.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
they could try and like disguise him.
Yeah, they've done that before, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see.
So we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Then me and Mika every week we're gonna write horoscopes.
Hell yeah, horoscopes maybe.
The player, because that sounds so fun.
Yep.
And then we're gonna come up. We're gonna pitch something that if it happens, then something. Wow, that was. We're gonna try and make essentially. We're gonna try and make a balls to the wall, buck wild prediction.
A food fight is a great start, but
food fight is an excellent one. But I feel like we have to come up with we have to distill that a little.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Very good.
But yeah, does anyone have any other questions before we move to the next part?
Yeah, because we got the lore witch here, and she's been working on that fucking wiki for weeks.
100 years.
100 years. It's extensive.
And if you guys ever have like any, so the wiki is up to date up to episode 7. Again, I will try and get more shit on there at some point, but it is absolutely up to date up to episode 7.
Nice.
So a lot of the characters from Aedra are already on there. A lot of like the items from Aedra are on there. A lot of that kind of stuff is already built in. So
yeah, and I dropped the wiki there, so if you want to click that, read up on your shit before tomorrow, it's up to you, man. The world is your oyster, so
it's all yours.
Yeah.
And it is a fan wiki, so you guys are able to contribute to things if you are interested. How many cultures are in there? So Sal's world is vast. I cannot even begin to count the different so what we've encountered so far, you've got like your Great Nelidian Crown, which like we'll just say that's like, for example, like the British, right? So like there's that whole thing, but then there are also the despairing cultures of each of like the islands that they've conquered. So like you've got the Moor folk, who are natives of the island of Moor. You have people who are from the Maritimes, they have their own shit. But then there's also like the individual cultures of different races that are in there. Like obviously the Turtles have a very distinct culture of their own. The like halflings who are from quote unquote Cinerode, maybe, except for it's super starting to seem like Kiss is not from Cinerode.
It sure does seem that way.
What on earth is happening there? But like clearly Cinerode has a culture of which Kiss is not a good representation.
Not privy to.
But like it's there. So like there's a lot of different cultures that are at play in this world, because like I said, it is very much like it's analogous pretty much to like the real world. Yeah. Sal definitely takes a lot of inspiration from like the actual
IRL
place, Earth where we live.
Yeah. I wouldn't know. That's a solid question though. Thank you for.
That's a really good question.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to kick it off?
Yeah. So.
1 second. Let me do a quick. I'll do a screen swipe.
Yeah.
I'll do a mystical screen swipe sound.
I was gonna grab. Well, no. Don't worry about it. It's good. Just pretend I have like a ball here, right?
There you go. Yes, you've got your crystal ball.
Crystal ball. And I'm trying to get in touch with the guides right now to tell me what is in store for our bared souls. And the first fortune comes to Kiss. And I say, the guides are saying to me from my brain and nowhere else, if there is one thing that you know best, it is that your friends are your most powerful. Fuck, actually, hang on. Immediately fucks it up. Ah, fuck. Ignore this. The guides are misguided right now. Hang on.
Yeah, they struggle sometimes.
Because it's in a different fucking thing in my brain. Okay. Remember that not all things can be found in the future. Some things rely on the now.
Very good.
Hold for effect. Thank you. Sorry. Next one. Okay, and then... Do you want to do yours?
Yes.
Jesus
right.
Christ! I'm so sorry.
This is Kaz's horoscope for the week. The whirlpool at your feet threatens to consume your vision if you do not remember the horizon. Keep your eyes on the dawning of the storm.
Picture
then,
like a thunderstorm.
Yeah. That's not what thunder sounds like. Wow, I'm really good at sound.
We're really good at this.
We're good at this, guys. All right, and then Kill. This is Kill's horoscope for the week. The moon whispers to you in your sleep of the demise of man. Bear in mind the hubris of dismissing a great man's pride.
Amazing. And the last one is for our indigo. The guides are reminding you that your greatest power can never be turned against you if you learn that chaos is your strength. This week will bring joy and intrigue, but keep your wits about you and steer clear of flammable objects. And that's our predictions. Well,
our predictions, our horoscopes.
Our horoscopes from the guides, from the oracles.
Yep.
To our players.
Straight from the DM's teat
to
you.
Ew.
I don't want to think about Sal's teats. This was
no.
a mistake. I've traumatized myself.
God damn it. And the whole chat. God.
And everyone. I'm so sorry, guys.
So sorry, guys. We'll be on it next week.
Yeah. All right. We'll end off with our crazy predictions. So we start with food fight. Okay. You got to narrow it down. It's your turn. Narrow that down.
Rennie does attend the food fight and finds out then that he is allergic to peanuts.
Very good. Also, when he finds this out, Kill will give him the Heimlich, and he will then spit a peanut out at Ilan.
Into Ilan's mouth?
Yes.
Yes. He swallows it. Almost chokes. Kill tries to perform, or what's the equivalent of like
more Heimlich maneuver.
I was gonna say the opposite, where he goes for an EpiPen, like a magical EpiPen.
Very good.
They're like, that's okay.
He just stabs him with like a magical dagger.
Yeah. I saw this in fucking a book.
Just kills him.
Goddamn. That's a good one.
That's
it.
If that comes to pass, everyone gets 1,000 channel points.
Hell yeah. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Oh my god. This has been so fun though, guys. Thank you for hanging out. We had a decent amount of viewers in here too, so I'm really happy.
Like, we kept pretty solid that whole time.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for coming. It's only gonna get better.
It will improve, I promise.
Every week.
Hell yeah, brother. And we'll have more people probably next week.
Having COVID. Mika will. Well, I was gonna say Mika will stop being exhausted. That's just not. That's just not true.
Your girl works too hard. I'm sorry.
Next week we will have energy drinks at the ready. We will be less tired.
Yep. And
we will also remember what happened the week before.
We will have extensive notes tomorrow.
We'll pay attention.
we got it. All right. All right. I love you guys. Have a great night.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. Let me transition. Bye.
They can still hear us. This is the end. This is the outro song. Here we